This show is brought to you by Safety FM.
Program is rated MA-LSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
Oh, truer words have never been said. It does not matter who the host is. What has always mattered is who the listeners are. Anyways, we are broadcasting from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida, and coming across the multiverse known as Safety FM, and then we are hanging out with our friends and colleagues over there.
Radio Big, streaming 24/7 at radiobig.fm.
There you go.
Back in the radio tank. It's a show you've heard before and probably got addicted to. They're back at it once again. This time asking for 92% of your attention. In exchange, they're gonna give it their all. But this time, they're gonna push it way beyond their comfort zone. That show starts now.
Okay, I guess we're starting something now because I've been pressured into doing so. Anyways, today is Monday, December the 1st of 2025, day 335th of the year, and only 30 days left to go. Yep, you got me right as I say that. The countdown of it almost being over with is here, and then the other side of the whole equation is, you know, that Christmas is right around the corner.
Thanksgiving, it's out of here. You know what's next.
The most wonderful time of the year.
Yep, the most wonderful time of the year, or at least the most expensive time of the year is what it definitely sounds like to me. Anyway, so as we are going through the whole thing, as we are broadcasting across the multiverse of Safety FM coming to you from Orlando, let's talk real quick. Our show consists of safety in the news and safety. That's kind of what we do around here. We talk a little bit about everything that is going on inside of the world of the multiverse, and then we take it down. Yeah, we're here about the takedown, no doubt about that. So hopefully you had a fantastic time during Thanksgiving. If you're here in the U.S. or if you're celebrating somewhere else, even if it's not in the U.S., I don't want to be that particular in regards to some of the stuff. But let's talk about this. Our show consists of safety in the news and safety. That's kind of how we do our thing. We talk a little bit about this. We talk a little bit about that. We jump around. We goof around. And then we get into some serious business. We have some professional broadcasters that come in, and they'll start talking about some of the stuff that's going on inside of the world of the news. because that's kind of how it goes. And then if you want to interact with the show, it is a simple processo to do so. If you want to go through that simple process, all you have to do is go to callinradio.com. That's callinradio.com. Once you get there, audio, video, and text messaging are the options of the things that you can do if you're so enticed to do so. And that's it. That is kind of how the world goes with what we have going on. I know, kind of simple if you kind of look at it from that particular standpoint. So how full are you today? Are you super excited that, number one, it's Cyber Monday, or number two, that you're going back to work today more than likely? I don't think your work week started yesterday. There is a possibility of that, but the odds of that occurring are probably slimmer than anything else. I'm just throwing that down as we are talking. So are you ready? Are you ready to go through the whole thing? Are you? And by the way, if you want to interact, callinradio.com. Video, audio, text messaging are the options, just in case. If I didn't mention that, that way I know which way to go as we are talking. So if you're good with this, I'm good with this. I'll bring in my friends from Feature Story News. They can go through the whole gamut of everything that is going on, and then we will get you rolling into everything else. So let's bring them in.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
From Feature Story News in London, I'm Simon Gaitan. Rescue efforts continue across Sri Lanka in the wake of Cyclone Ditwar, which struck on Friday, causing the island nation's worst flooding in over a decade, with the death toll climbing to at least 355, with 366 people still missing, according to authorities. Authorities say they have arrested 13 people as investigations continue into the cause of Hong Kong's deadliest fire in more than half a century. The death toll has risen to at least 146, with 40 people still missing, according to the police. Thousands turned out to pay tribute to the victims on Sunday, many laying flowers and writing handwritten notes to the victims. Laura Westbrook reports.
The fire that ripped through 7 residential towers has stunned Hong Kong, and authorities have launched criminal and corruption investigations and have already made several arrests. The buildings had been under renovation since July last year, and some residents reportedly said they raised concerns about fire safety risks. Police have begun entering the buildings to gather evidence, with authorities saying the investigation could take several weeks. Laura Westbrook, Hong Kong.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky is in Paris for one-on-one talks with President Emmanuel Macron. His trip comes after US-Ukraine talks in Miami and ahead of US-Russia talks in Moscow this week. Ross Cullen reports.
Volodymyr Zelensky is in Paris to try to continue to shore up European support ahead of another crucial week in ongoing talks to try to end the war in Ukraine. There were negotiations in Miami between Ukrainian and American delegations at the weekend that the US Secretary of State described as productive, but Vladimir Putin will host the US Special Envoy for talks in Moscow on Tuesday that Ukraine will be nervously watching. The EU continues to argue over future funding for Kyiv, and Zelensky's inner circle is under pressure over the energy sector corruption scandal which led to his chief of staff resigning on Friday. Ross Cullen, Paris.
Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi's office is reportedly stepping in to fix Delhi's pollution crisis as pollution levels remain high for nearly a month now. His office has asked for a new study to pinpoint exactly who is polluting the capital's air and ordered an updated list of pollution sources as current measures are based on old data. Ishan Garg tells us more from New Delhi.
The directive comes days after India's top green tribunal was informed that despite a study on sources of pollution being finished in 2023, an action plan based on new data was not implemented. It means agencies are still fighting the smog in Delhi using information from 2018. Prime Minister Narendra Modi's office has now reportedly asked for updated information and also ordered a time-bound action plan to tackle dust pollution specifically, with a focus on paving and greening major roads across the region. Ishan Garg, New Delhi.
From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks. Today remembering the playwright Tom Stoppard, whose death was announced over the weekend at the age of 88. Sir Tom won tributes from across the artistic spectrum and from the King and Queen of England, who described him as a close personal friend. He was widely hailed over the weekend for being the writer of Shakespeare in Love, which is true, but he leaves behind an extraordinary pantheon of plays that will be performed long after his death, including Rosencrantz and Guildenstern Dead, The Real Thing, Arcadia, The Intention of Love, the list goes on and on. Not bad for a lad from Czechoslovakia whose family fled the Nazis, and a man who in this 2008 interview could not quite explain how he started writing each play in the first place.
I rack my brains, because I think maybe if I can remember how I got to write The Invention of Love, I'll work out a way of getting into this next one. Somehow, in the end, I start by starting, and it's a very odd thing because you can't start a play without knowing a lot about it, but you don't actually know anything about it until you've started it. So it's like trying to watch the light go out in the fridge. There's no moment which seems absolutely available to you.
He spoke there to Theatre Talk TV. Luckily, he always got started. The lights in London's West End will be dimmed on Tuesday in justifiable memory of his extraordinary contributions. With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks.
To recap the top stories. Rescue efforts continue in Sri Lanka in the wake of Cyclone Ditwa, with the death toll climbing to at least 355, with hundreds still missing. Authorities say they have arrested 13 people as investigations continue into the cause of Hong Kong's deadliest fire in more than half a century. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky is in Paris to meet with his French counterpart ahead of US-Russia talks in Moscow this week over a peace settlement to the war in Ukraine. That's the latest feature story news. Simon Gaitan reporting.
Safety never sounded so terrible.
Rated R Safety Show.
You ever hit the wall, burnout, stressed, or just feeling that everything is piling up and thought, yeah, I probably need to talk to someone? The problem is finding the therapist who actually takes your insurance feels impossible at times. That's where Rula comes in. Rula is a healthcare company that makes mental health care easy to access and actually affordable. They partner with over 100 insurance plans, so the average copay is about $15 a session, sometimes even less. With Rula, you get matched with the right therapist for you, not just whoever's available. Their network has over 15,000 licensed professionals, and you can book an appointment as soon as tomorrow. No wait list, no frustrations, just therapy that works with your schedule and your insurance. Thousands of people are already using Rula to get affordable, high-quality therapy that actually covered by insurance. Visit Rula.com/safetyfm to get started. After you sign up, you'll be asked how you heard about them. Please support our show and let them know that we sent you there. That's RULA.com/safetyfm. You deserve mental health care that works with you, not against your budget. Go to Rula.com/safetyfm right now to get started. That's RULA.com/safetyfm, because you deserve mental health care that works with you, not against your budget.
What if everything we thought we knew about safety was just interference? From the host of the Rated R Safety Show and the founder of Safety FM comes the complete signal transmission trilogy, now available in one powerful edition. Safety, in my opinion, the book that started the conversation. Safety Mutation, where the boundaries of culture, systems, and belief begin to break. And now, Safety Transmission, the final piece of the signal. For the first time, all three books are together in one volume. The Signal Transmission Trilogy, Complete Edition. This isn't just about compliance. It's about consciousness. It's about decoding the way we think, lead, and live, inside and outside the system. Whether you've been following the signal since the beginning or you're just now tuning in, this is the version to own. Search Signal Trilogy on Amazon or visit safetyfm.com to get your copy now.
I know you all want to hit your revenue targets and get the launch done. Well, making sure that your team knows what to do and how to do it is a huge part of it. So I'm sure that you all do different kinds of training, and I'm willing to bet that you probably use PowerPoint, Zoom, etc. I also bet that when you get someone droning on about a topic using these tools, you probably zone out. And your team does too. I mean, it is a reality of what happens. That's why I strongly recommend a tool called Articulate 360. That makes it so easy to whip together interactive, really beautiful e-learnings that really engages people and gets info across. You can create short-form micro-learning, super interactive courses, and really whatever you need when you're in their site. Then with a couple of clicks, you can send it out and check on it and see the progress of your team. Your team can also check back on the training anytime they want in a super simple portal. Literally everyone uses Articulate. Over 120,000 companies and all 100 Fortune 100 companies. Check it out at articulate.com/360 to start a free trial. That's articulate.com/360 to start your free trial. And don't forget to tell them that I was the one that sent you there.
You're being infiltrated. Radio Big.
Okay, so let's start talking as we are 15 minutes past the top of the hour doing our fun stuff. No doubt about that. You know, some people went to the movie theater over the last week because that's kind of what happened. So take a listen.
The top spot at the box office this weekend. At the box office. The box office roundup.
The weekend box office.
At the box office this weekend.
Okay, so let's talk about some things that happened, well, apparently at the box office this weekend. So coming in at number 10 was Nuremberg with 749,000. Sisu Road to Revenge, 810,000. Hamnet, 880,000. A Rental Family at number 7, $2.1 million. At number 6, Eternity with $3.2 million. Number 5 was The Running Man with $3.7 million. And number 4 was Predators Badlands with $4.8 million. And numero 3 was Now You See Me, Now You Don't, $7 million. And then coming in at number 2, which last week was number 1, was Wicked for Good at $62.8 million. And ranking in at the number 1 spot. New movie for the week. Zootopia 2, $96.8 million. Yep. That's what was going on. So there you go. There you go. There you go. So what do you think? So let's continue talking. I mean, if you've seen the first Zootopia 2 follows similar patterns, but kind of a cool show when it's all said and done. You know, when you have young kids, you have to go to these movies. I know. I keep on telling people I don't want to go to the movies because I think it's too expensive. And that we end up seeing the movies on streaming way too quick. But that's my opinion. Okay, so let's start talking right away. Last week we had a story about Tara Reid, so we're going to continue this story right now with it because I think it'll be interesting for you to take a listen to the other side of the gamut. Yes, I am saying the other side of the gamut of the things that allegedly had occurred. Yes, allegedly. I am using the word allegedly had occurred. So if you're ready to take a listen to it, I am definitely ready to talk about it because it gets very interesting. I always tell people there's always multiple sides to a story, so don't run with it yet until you know for sure that there is another side of an equation as we are talking. No, seriously, think about it. So Tara Reid was hospitalized in Chicago after an incident that she says happened when someone slipped something into her drink at a hotel bar. Video showed her incoherent and slumped in a wheelchair before the paramedics took her out on a stretcher. She told the police that she stepped outside for a cigarette and a man that she just met came back to her drink and covered it with a napkin, took a sip, and then she blacked out. The man she named in her police report, YouTuber Sean P., is now giving his version. He says that they met at the bar, joked around, and went outside for a smoke, and then she seemed tipsy but coherent. He claims that later handed him her purse and took to look for a room key, and then she saw pills inside before she suddenly began yelling for security. Then later collapsed outside. He insisted he never saw her with a drink. Reid was hospitalized and tested for drugs. No results would have been given or made to the public. She filed a police report, also accusing Sean of sending her videos the next day, which she interpreted as an extortion attempt. He says that he was just warning her that someone filmed the scene. Her reps say that she believes her drink was tampered with. She's cooperating with investigators. She's willing to prosecute. And she wants people to stay alert about leaving their drink unattended. So there you go. Some stuff to think about for sure as we are talking. Let's just go ahead and do that.
We at Safety FM are not responsible for what this idiot behind the microphone is saying. He is trying to be entertaining. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so there you go. There you go. There you go. A lot of stuff that is going on. So what do you think? I'm just asking the question. I just want to have a better understanding of everything going on inside of the world. Always kind of a fun time when you get to hear all kinds of interesting stories, no doubt about that. So what do you think? So I guess I'll talk about this because I was just talking about movies that were occurring, but not normally what we start off with, but let me tell you anyways. The Wicked World is growing again. Gregory Maguire, whose original 1995 novel sparked a Broadway smash and now a blockbuster films with Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo, is releasing a new prequel novel, Good Witch Early Life. The book Galinda, A Charmed Childhood lands September the 29th of 2026 and serves as a compilation to Elfie, A Wicked Childhood, which explored the Wicked Witch origins. The new story follows a young Galinda, the pampered yet overlooked youngest child in one of the most prominent families, as she tries to rise through the local dance competition. She obviously to the growing resentment towards her family's business dealings. While her father maneuvers through the trouble, Galinda begins charting a path out of her rough, prideful, unbridging ways. Limited deluxe editions and fancy stenciled edges and designed in paper are already available while supplies last. So there you go. I don't know. Sounds interesting when it's all said and done. I'm almost at the point that I believe that you almost have to remake those movies, or remake at least The Wizard of Oz. I know I'm insulting the public there by saying that, but it just doesn't make a lot of sense if you kind of watch it and then go, oh yeah, this is something that works, because it doesn't work. It's kind of a weird one. Anyways, take a listen to this because we always have the world of the weird around here. Are you ready for this? A UK mom, Whitney Askinoff, charges her extended family for meals she cooks, normally $11 per person for Sunday roast, and she's doubling down the price for $23 per adult on Christmas dinner, plus $11 per child. So it simply covers the food, gas, electricity, and everything that goes into hosting. Let's see. And her family is fine with it because they love her cooking and see it as fair. Whitney started charging after losing her pharmacy job and going to Universal Credit. I don't know what that means. When she could no longer afford to feed everyone for free. For Christmas, she's planning a big spread: turkey, pork, beef, luxury pig. What is a luxury pig in the blankets? And all of the trimmings. She expects about 12 people and says that the cost to feed them is around $220. She'll cook everything at her mom's house because it's bigger. And then the kids will help her clean up, earning their chip-ins, while online commentators are split about the idea of charging family for holiday meals. Whitney says that her clan prefers her cooking and views it as the whole thing as a win-win. So there you go. I mean, I think if you're helping out family when it's all said and done, if that's what you want to do, it's good for them, I guess, when it's all said. So forget Santa. Whitney's the one checking who's naughty or nice and then gets paid for it. Definitely is what it sounds like when it's all said and done. I mean, I don't know. What do you think about the whole thing? It becomes definitely a very interesting one. So no, let's not say anything weird. So take a listen to this. Russian fitness influencer Dmitry Nuyansin, 30, died after attempting an extreme stunt, rapidly gaining 50 pounds so that he could later showcase a dramatic weight loss transformation. His plans required him to consume up to 10,000 calories of junk food a day, cake for breakfast, nearly 2 pounds of mayo-soaked dumplings for lunch, burgers and pizza for dinner, plus nonstop snacks. About a month, he gained 29 pounds, as he hit 231.5 pounds. His final Instagram post was on November the 18th, where he admitted that he felt miserable and didn't seem alarmed. The next day, he canceled coaching sessions and told friends that he felt sick and planned to see a doctor, but he never made it. He died in his sleep from heart failure. Experts say that the daily calorie overload severely strained his organ, especially his heart. While one-off overeating binge might not be deadly, doing it every single day with massive amounts of salt, fat, and volume can spike blood pressure, blood sugar, cholesterol, trigger dangerous heart rhythms, and other acute medical crises. His death stunned followers and colleagues, and nutrition experts are now saying that his stories of extreme challenges like this can push your body past its limits, even with someone physically fit. So if your diet plans require a forklift, it's not a diet, it's a farewell.
Listen at your own risk. Rated R Safety Show.
Hey, I'm just telling you, it's kind of one of those interesting ones as we talk. So there you go. Anyways, President Trump blasted New York Times reporter Katie Rogers after she co-wrote a story questioning his age, health, and stamina in his second term. I mean, I guess it's good questions. Calling her a third-rate and ugly inside and out, the latest in the strings of clashes that he said with a female reporter. Earlier this month on Air Force One, he snapped at Bloomberg's Kathleen Lucy, telling her, quiet, Piggy, when she pressed him about releasing Justice Department files related to Jeffrey Epstein. Last week, he tore through ABC's Mary Bruce in the Oval Office, accusing her of embarrassing Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman when she asked him about Jamal's murder. So there you go. I guess, it's one of those things. It's a one-way motherfucking thing for people to do. I mean, if it's okay if you're the one that's doing the insults, but you cannot feel like you're insulted because that's how you act. It's just one of those weird things in life on how people act from time to time.
Who truly cares what this guy has to say? Who gives a shit? Rated R Safety Show.
I'm just saying, just keeping it real. Don't hate me for saying that. So there you go. Take a listen to this. President Trump is once again hammering away on Joe Biden's use of autoplan, claiming on Truth Shows that he's canceling all executive orders and anything else not directly signed by Biden. He even tossed in a threat of perjury charges if Biden denies using the device, while offering exactly zero evidence for his claim that 92% of Biden's documents were signed that way. Legal experts aren't losing sleep over it. A 2005 DOJ Office of Legal Counsel review done under President George W. Bush already established that president doesn't need to physically sign bills or documents for them to be valid, and that while Biden issued 162 executive orders, nobody knows how many involved the auto ban, and it doesn't really matter legally. So there you go. Some stuff to talk about as we are going through it. So what do you think? Some interesting stuff, to say the least. No doubt about that. Okay, so take a listen to this. Michael Strahan makes a shocking Patrick Mahomes prediction. The Chiefs are in full panic mode while Michael Strahan just poured gasoline on the fire. Coming off of their Thanksgiving loss to the Cowboys, their 6th loss in 12 games. The Chiefs are hanging on to playoff hopes by a thread. And on Fox NFL Kickoff, when Kurt Menefee asked Michael Strahan whether Patrick Mahomes is about to miss his postseason for the first time ever, Strahan didn't hesitate. He just said, yes, no fluff, no qualifiers. He just straight out shot out of the gut.
Is Patrick Mahomes going to miss the playoffs for the first time in his career? Yes. Ooh.
So that was it. I mean, I don't understand how that's a big deal. I mean, you can't ask somebody their opinion and then all of a sudden get upset that you did. It's kind of how it goes sometimes. So there you go. There you go. So take a listen to this one. This one's getting kind of interesting. A Thai court has issued an arrest warrant for John Kabor Ann, the high-profile co-owner, the largest shareholder of the Miss Universe organization, after she failed to show up for her required court appearance in 2023 fraud case. She didn't notify the court about her absence, so judges labeled her potential flight risk and rescheduled the hearing for December the 26th. As for Ann goes, her company JKN Global Group are being sued by investors who say they lost more than $930,000 after being sold to corporate bonds, and he claims that were fraudulent. JKN's finances have been sinking since 2023. The company defaulted on payments, entered debt rehab in 2024, and says that it owes $93 million. and had already resigned from all of the company's positions in June after regulators accused her of falsifying financial statements. JKN bought Miss Universe in 2022 and then sold half of it in 2023 to Legacy Holding Group USA, owned by Mexican businessman Raul Rocha Cantu, who is unrelated in the case and now under investigation in Mexico for allegedly organizing crime, including drug and arms trafficking and fuel theft. A federal judge has already approved multiple arrest orders tied to the investigation. Meanwhile, rumors in Thailand suggested that Jakabur had fled the country, which JKN denied. But her current whereabouts are still unknown. She also skipped this year's Miss Universe pageant in Bangkok, an event that already mired in drama, judges quitting, accusations of rigging, and even the police probe into illegal casino promotion tied into the pageant publicly. Geez, man, I'm telling you, this Miss Universe thing definitely sounds like something you should not want to get involved with when it's all said and done. I mean, just think about it. Hey, don't think about it. Not sure what happened there. I guess I kind of lost the gamut, damn it, when it was all said and done. When I guess it does not like me anymore. You know, sometimes when we are doing this live radio thing and we lose the board, and then I go, oh yeah, that was supposed to play and nothing happens. And now I become that guy that's like, oh yeah, dude, you totally screwed the pooch on that one. But I guess that happens when it's all said and done. But we already know that. So there you go. Welcome to live radio. Okay, let's continue talking about some other things that are going on inside of the world. Okay, so let's take a listen to this one. Congress is now digging into reports that Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth ordered the U.S. forces to kill everyone aboard a vessel the U.S. says was smuggling drugs into the Caribbean. According to the Post, after the initial U.S. strike in September, 2 people were still alive. Pete allegedly gave a spoken order to finish the job. Both of the House and the Senate Armed Services Committee, Republican-led but acting bipartisan, have launched inquiries. Lawmakers from both parties say the Pentagon has been tight-lipped about the mission, including the legal basis. Pete defended the operation on X on Friday night, calling the actions lethal kinetic strikes that were fully lawful under the U.S. and international standards and vetted by military and civilian lawyers. But legal experts are already raising red flags, but the Geneva Convention require care for the wounded and incapacitated combatants, not execution. So there you go. Some stuff to talk about as we are hanging out and doing our thing. So what do you think there? I'm just asking the question. Okay, so now that I got you thinking, inking, why don't we go ahead and do this? You know what it is? Are you familiar? Are you aware? Let's go ahead and get into that thing we call our main story.
Here is our main story on the Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so main story time as we are 32 minutes past the top of the hour, still doing all of the stuff that we get to do inside of the world of the multiverse. Let's get some drums. So there you go. A lot of stuff happening. So let's go into everything. Let's talk a little bit about this, a little bit about that, and then try to figure out what the hell is going on. And why do I say this? Well, I say this for the following reason. You are aware that the way that things move inside of what we do for work industry-wise are constantly changing. Their fluidity, if you look at an ocean on how it's moving on a constant basis, that is kind of how our workplaces go. Just think about it. Even though some things seem repetitive, we kind of can see when the ocean does this, when the waves are coming in, and then when they're pulling back, and then when they're coming in again. You know, we constantly look at it and go, okay, we know what's happening. And that's kind of how it goes with work. We know what's happening. It's not perfect, but it's the stuff that's happening in real time. So we look around and go, okay, this makes sense. But then sometimes it doesn't make any sense at all. And you go, what are you talking about? Well, think about it for a moment. You are aware that you're going to work at some point. You have a pretty good expectancy on what's going to happen. And then in return, you kind of go, okay, if this happens this way, we have some other things that are going to go down too. And then when you go through that whole process, that's how your mental model starts going on how work is. But think about it for a moment. Think about if work, the main manager, the main president, the main whatever you want to input here, on what kind of impact they're going to have for work. Now, listen, if you go into a job, if you go into a workplace and you see that someone new is brought in one of these head positions, what you are normally going to notice right away is that the majority of the time, they start letting go of people, especially if it's somebody who was not an internal candidate that was brought in. It was somebody else. And what they will normally do is in that head position, they will start getting rid of people that are at the current workplace. Kind of normal pattern. And then they'll bring people that they've worked with before. Similar to what they've done in other organizations, because what have they built? They have built something together at other places, so they look at it and go, they are trustworthy. So what do you look at all of a sudden? Well, now all of a sudden you have noticed that the game has changed. And when I say the game, I'm trying to use the term as correctly as possible. Things have changed within the organizations because they're not going to follow the same lines that they did at one time before. Just kind of how it goes. It's kind of the norm. So as you look at this and you hear about this, what do you think? Like, seriously, what do you think? Because now all of a sudden everything has changed for you. It's not the same thing that was there when your previous manager was there. Now it's all new. Now it is all one of those things that you sit around and you go, hold on for a moment. This is what our SOP says. This is what we're truly believing. Now, we can have an argument here for a moment that people will say HR is there to protect the individual. And I will probably argue a little bit about that. HR is normally there to protect the company. So people normally lean towards that direction. Well, we can go to HR if we're having this problem. I got a question for you, just for you to think about for a moment. Who does HR report to? Like, I want you to think about that. And then you're probably going to sit back and go, well, they report to the VP of HR. That's where the department normally goes. And the VP of HR reports to who? Well, depending on how the organizational structure is, it normally reports to the highest ranking officer, which is the person we're complaining about. So how would that work? So you see where it's a conundrum? So how do you handle these scenarios? Do you stick to the same scenario of everything that was being done before? Or do you look at it and you go, well, we must adhere to what the new upper management is saying that needs to be done? Because that's always the conundrum. Here's the funny part, is that I talk to some people and they have a very hard time dealing with work outside of work. Meaning, it's one of these things I think about. I'm constantly trying to figure out what I need to do, how to resolve X, how to resolve Z, blah, 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 blah. And then I have other people that I know that just straight up don't give a shit. They just don't care about what's going on. And that's perfectly fine. You can be of either section. At the end of the day, what's going to make you mentally happy when it's all said and done? And which is the one that's going to make you miserable when it's all said and done?
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with the viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the home of real safety talk.
You are listening to Safety FM. We'll be right back.
This portion of the show has been sponsored by Private Internet Access, America's #1 virtual private network, or VPN. Even if you use incognito mode, internet service providers is storing your browser data and many times even selling it. But Private Internet Access, or PIA, can help you. PIA encrypts and reroutes your internet traffic through one of its own servers, hiding your data from your internet service provider or network admin. And with servers in over 75 countries, you can get unrestricted access to geo-blocked content from around the world. PIA comes with easy-to-use apps and browsers extension for all devices, a rock-solid privacy policy, open source security, advanced customization settings, and it was just ranked the fastest VPN in the world by PC Magazine. And if you sign up right now with PIA, you can take advantage of a special deal only for Safety FM listeners. Only by using the following link, you can get the digital privacy for less than $2 a month. Yes, you did hear me correctly, less than $2 a month and an extra 4 months for free. So that means for only $1.98 a month and 83% off, you can get this service for you right now. That's so much more inexpensive than virtually every other VPN on the market. And if you get it right now, you can take PIA's 30-day risk-free challenge. You can try it out for 30 days, see if you like it, and if not, just return it for a full refund. So just go to safetyfm.com/VPN. That's safetyfm.com/VPN to try out the best VPN on the planet completely risk-free. Now remember, safetyfm.com/VPN.
Is your safety training old, stale, and hacked? Is your safety trainer still preaching a warped version of behavior-based safety? How about safety training that actually addresses your hazards in your workplaces and is not standardized baloney from 25 years ago? Contact the Safety Wars team at safetywars.com or call Jim Posel at 845-269-5772. Remember, if you're receiving this message, you are the solution to unsafe workplaces.
It's always amazing to me on how technology changes, and so does the environment that we're in. And cyber criminals will do everything they can to take advantage of a system. If you don't own a home, you have nothing to fear about what I'm about to tell you. But if you own a home like me and you don't guard it with home title lock, you're inviting home title fraud. One of the fastest growing crimes. Cyber thieves around the world know our home values are sky high at the moment, and that makes us a target. The crime is scary simple. Let me explain it to you real quick. A cyber thief simply forges your name on a property sale form and refiles it. That's it. Now he or she is on the deed of your home and you have no idea that you're a victim. Then the person takes out a loan on your home and vanishes, leaving you to prove to the police that you didn't commit bank fraud. Home Title Lock puts a virtual barrier around your home title. The instant they detect any kind of tampering or anybody messing around, they help shut it down. Look, if you have equity in your home, you need to guard it the best way that you can. Some people might even go as far as guarding it with their life. Go to HometitleLock.com and register your address to see if you already are a victim. And enter the code RADIO. That's RADIO. That's the code RADIO for 30 days free of protection. That's code RADIO at HometitleLock.com.
In safety, in my opinion, you woke up. You saw the system, the simulation, the structure that trained you to mistake compliance for care. Safety mutation. Information misdirection picks up where the signal fractured. Because the system didn't shut you down, it rebranded you. It packaged your voice, sold your rebellion as a new initiative, and smiled while doing it. This isn't a manual. It's a decoded transmission about what happens when slogans replace stories, when safety becomes marketing, and when truth gets mirrored so perfectly, you forget it was ever yours. You'll see the mutation. Learning teams turned into theater, zero harm turned into optics, and feedback turned into formatting. But the signal didn't die. It was redirected. Safety Mutation is Book 2 of the Signal Transmission Trilogy. Available now in print, Kindle, and audiobook. Narrated by the author J. Allen, Ph.D. Because the system adapted. Now it's your move.
Some of the best things in life come to those who wait, but we ain't waiting for shit. Radio Big.
Inside a video game and it's on repeat. It's like I just fell asleep and I'm stuck inside a dream. You wake up and you're dying, so you're probably better off asleep.
Okay, here we are, 45 minutes past the top of the hour.
It's not as bad
as we are hanging out, doing our thing on this lovely Monday, December the 1st. This right here, Simulated World. Yep, that's how we go. That's how we roll. Not like a jelly roll, just in case. Because you know why? It's a fake world. Yep, that's how it goes. We talk a little bit about everything that is going on inside of the world of the multiverse. That is the hangout, that is the mood, that is the groove of everything that is happening inside of the world of the multiverse. That's just kind of how it is. So let's talk about the most important thing that I will ever tell you in my lifetime, and that is about my friends at To Write Love on Her Arms. No matter what you're facing, you deserve to be connected to help, and the people at To Write Love on Her Arms want you to know that people have been where you are now and that healing is possible. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to TWLOHA.com. That's TWLOHA.com and click on the section that says Find Help. Once you get there, you'll see information related to addiction, depression, anxiety, eating disorders, self-injury, suicide, trauma, grief support, just to name a few. That's TWLOHA.com. To Write Love on Her Arms. So there you go. What do you think? A lot of stuff to talk about, no doubt about that. Because listen, I'm going to tell you, you go to a website like that, especially after enduring some of the holiday stuff, it's rough on some people. So I always think that it is good to have this information just in case if you need to source some of it. And I don't say that jokingly. I don't say that with a tongue-in-cheek, as some would say. I'm saying it from the standpoint that these things need to be talked about and these things need to be discussed. So there you go. That's just kind of how the whole thing goes. TWLOHA.com, To Write Love on Her Arms. So what do you think? Anyways, take a listen to this weight loss drug that seems to be everywhere these days, and now is getting ready for Ozempic 2.0. Cheaper pill-based weight loss drugs that may be on the way. Novo Nordisk and Eli Lilly are preparing a once-a-day GLP-1 pills that could arrive as early as next year, offering patients an easier, potential, less expensive alternative to injections like Ozempic or Wegovy. These medications come on demand for weight loss treatments, explodes through current options remain costly and can cause side effects and require needles, which, many people dislike. And beyond pills, drug makers are developing more powerful injectables combination that may reduce side effects, and even monthly treatments that could match today's best drugs and which usually can be taken while FDA approval is still pending. Experts say that expanded options in competition could lower prices. Great. So now instead of a weekly injection, I'll be able to forget to take the pill every day. And for some people, if Ozempic gets any more expensive, the main side effects will just be that they'll just disappear. So there you go. I don't know. What do you think about the whole thing? I mean, it's kind of a weird thing. I mean, think about this for a moment. A drug that is used mostly for things related to diabetes has now become a drug for weight loss. I mean, I guess it's kind of the same way you look at some of the stuff that happened with Viagra. You are aware that Viagra was actually being determined for it to be a heart pill, and then they realized that it had a very interesting side effect. And that's how it ended up coming about. Well, I guess it ended up coming about more than that way. But you get the gist of the whole thing. So I don't know. What do you think about the whole thing? It makes it interesting. I would say at least it makes it interesting. At the bare minimum, it makes the things interesting. So what do you think will happen in the long run? So there you go. Okay, so take a listen to this because you know that we're almost at that 50-minute mark. So it's time to bring in some John Smalls into our life.
The Motivation Minute, courtesy of GenesisGoldIRA.com and JaceCaseMedical.com.
The Motivation Minute.
Today's quote was submitted by Nathan. Benjamin Franklin said, "He that can have patience can have what he will." Very cool quote. And I agree with this as well. If you're patient, it's amazing what comes your way. But when you try to force things in your time, things can get sloppy. Benjamin Franklin has several great quotes, and I think it seems like he was a pretty neat guy, but I also think he was a little off. I know this because I read his autobiography. There's a fine line between brilliant and just plain weird, and good old Ben, well, he dipped a few toes in the weird waters, let me tell you. His mind was amazing enough to dream up some pretty cool inventions, but also weird enough to be, well, kind of weird.
The Motivation Minute.
The Motivation Minute, courtesy of GenesisGoldIRA.com and JaceCaseMedical.com. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
The Trump administration ordered an immediate pause on asylum rulings nationwide while investigators probe the deadly ambush of 2 National Guard soldiers.
Homeland Security officials were instructed Friday to halt decisions on both new and pending asylum cases after the shooting near the White House left 1 guardsman dead and another critically injured. Authorities are examining whether the suspect, an Afghan national, had pending immigration claims and how he entered the country. Lawrence Keller reporting.
U.S. shoppers opened their wallets in record fashion this Black Friday, pushing online spending to its highest level, yet despite lingering economic worries.
Data from Adobe Analytics show Americans shelled out about $11.8 billion in online purchases, topping last year's mark and setting a new one-day e-commerce record. Electronics, toys, and clothing were among the hottest categories, bolstered by steep discounts and extended flash sales from major retailers. Jessica Oakley reporting.
Russian missiles pounded Ukraine's capital as a top-level Ukrainian delegation headed to Washington, underscoring the stakes of new peace efforts.
3 people were killed and at least 14 wounded when Russian strikes hit Kyiv on Saturday, while Ukrainian officials traveled to the United States seeking support for a renewed push toward peace talks. Residential buildings and energy infrastructure were damaged, prompting fresh power cuts and rescue operations across parts of the city. Joseph Eckerson reporting.
This is the latest news headlines.
Grief and anger deepened in Hong Kong as authorities began 3 days of mourning after a catastrophic fire tore through multiple high-rise towers.
Officials say at least 128 people are confirmed dead, and hundreds remain missing after flames swept across linked apartment blocks in the Tai Po district. Investigators are probing how bamboo scaffolding and renovation materials may have helped the fire spread, and whether building alarms failed to operate properly. Benjamin Wright reporting.
Turbulence inside of the House Republican conference intensified as Speaker Mike Johnson faced deepening rifts, surprise resignations, and mounting pressure.
With only a razor-thin majority, Johnson is struggling to control a chamber where both hardliners and moderates are forcing contentious floor votes and threatening leadership priorities. The sudden resignation announcement from Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene further narrows his margin and adds uncertainty to upcoming legislative fights. Kyle Norris reporting.
A powerful winter storm snarled travel across the upper Midwest, grounding flights and slowing holiday trips with heavy snow and strong winds.
More than 1,000 flights were canceled nationwide, with Chicago, Minneapolis, and Detroit seeing some of the heaviest disruptions as snow bands swept through the region. Airlines urged passengers to check their status before heading to airports, warning that delays could ripple into Sunday as crews and aircraft reposition. Kevin Sanders reporting.
And that's the latest news headlines with Alan Edwards.
And now, things I've learned from Judge Judy.
All rise.
Wouldn't it be better to work in a 5-day-a-week, 9-to-5 office job than a 2-day rave? What is a rave?
It's
a party.
It's a music
so she
festival.
Went to Vegas to work a party.
Yeah,
it's
a concert.
Worked a party for 2 days. Wouldn't it be easier to answer the phone and say, "Hello, can I help you?"
That's it for things I've learned from Judge Judy.
Okay, some things that I've learned from Judge Judy. There you go. That's some stuff. Anyways, let's talk about some things that happened back on this date. Back in 2024, U.S. President Joe Biden pardons his son, Hunter Biden, reversing an earlier decision. That happened back on this date in 2024. If you're looking at some celebrity birthdays for today, Lee Trevino turns 86, Bette Midler turns 80, Sarah Silverman turns 55, and Janelle Monroe turns 40. So there you go. Okay, some things you ought to know. Let's talk about this. The national consumer spent a record $11.8 billion on Black Friday, which exceeded the amount spent during the in-store visits on the day after Thanksgiving. Adobe Analytics data shows a combined total of 1 trillion online visits to retailers' websites, during which consumers spent the record amount that exceeded 2024's Black Friday spending by 9.1%. Also, Senator Cory Booker has married fiancée Alexis Lewis in Washington, D.C., less than 3 months after announcing their engagement. At an Instagram post, only close family were present, as the New Jersey senator tied the knot on Saturday in an interfaith ceremony blessed by both pastor and rabbi. Lewis is Jewish and Booker is Christian. The venue location wasn't disclosed for privacy reasons. Here's Friday Mega Million numbers. The jackpot was $80 million, 6, 7, 13, 39, 48. Mega Ball was 4. Since there was no jackpot winner, tomorrow's jackpot climbs to $90 million. Here's our Saturday's winning Powerball numbers. Jackpot was $719 million. 19, 22, 32, 59. Powerball was 1. Power Play was 2. Since there was no winner for that jackpot, tonight's Powerball climbs to $740 million. Also, President Trump just said that he would release the results of his MRI exam that he received in October, while sparking with reports on board of Air Force One. Trump said the results of his MRI were perfect. The president was traveling back from Washington, D.C. from Florida after spending Thanksgiving at Mar-a-Lago. If you want to have it released, I'll release it, Trump told the reporters, adding that he had no idea what part of his body was examined. It was an MRI, he said. What part of the body? It wasn't the brain, because I took cognitive tests and I aced it. So there you go. Some stuff to talk about, as we always do. Here's some weird fact for today. Fingerprints can last up to 40 years on paper, just in case you didn't know that. And then in some other newsy, if you need some words of wisdom for today, your attitude tells the world what you expect from them and whether you'll achieve it or not. So there you go. Anyways, that's going to end up our time together at the top of the hour. I will be going over to radiobig.fm if you want to come and hang out with me for the next couple hours or so. If you don't want to do that, that's perfectly fine. You can stay here on Safety FM and hang out with the likes of Sheldon Primus as he talks about the world of safety consulting. Just so you know. Also, today is National Pie Day, in case you didn't know that. Enjoy a slice of your favorite pie. And also, today is Cyber Monday, in case you didn't get all your Black Friday deals. But today is the Internet's answer to Black Friday deals. The official observance takes place on Monday after Thanksgiving, while the Internet-based companies traditionally offered their best holiday shopping on Cyber Monday to compete with Black Friday deals in brick and mortar stores, which have been changing things. However, in the most recent years, Black Friday and Cyber Monday deals tend to run together. So there you go. Some stuff to think about as we are talking. So that's it. If I can leave you with a deep thought, here you go. Put your shower curtain liner in the washing machine, add towels to scrub it cleaner, and it comes out looking like a new one without buying another one. So keep in mind about that. Anyways, I know who you are. You know who I am. Love you, mean it, and goodbye.
The views and opinions expressed during this broadcast, podcast, or radio show are solely those of the host and guests and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of Safety FM and or Radio Big. The content discussed, including examples of analysis, is provided for illustrative purposes only. It should not be applied as the sole solution in real-world scenarios, as it is based on limited and dated open source information. Any assumptions made during this broadcast, podcast, or radio show are not reflective of Safety FM and or Radio Big. No portion of this broadcast, podcast, or radio show may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, electronic, mechanical, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of Safety FM and or Radio Big. For permission requests, please contact Safety FM or Radio Big directly.
You're just in another dream. When you finally wake up, you're just in another dream. It's a fake world.